Hallelujah. Gary and your wife, would you come, please? Hallelujah. Just join hands. Father, I thank you for Gary and his wife. What's your wife's name?
Teresa.
Teresa. Father, I thank you for Gary and Teresa. And I thank you for the mantle, the calling, the destiny, the purpose, the very things when they answered the call and said, yes, God will go. God said, don't you know, I knew the path that was going to be for you. And God says, you said the enemy, the Lord tricked us in this one. But the enemy, he played his trick, but it has not worked. And God said that I have brought you into this region and I have brought you for a purpose. And God says there is an expansion going on right now. Get ready, O man and woman of God, because it's time, saith the Lord, to pick up your tent pegs and stretch out your tent pegs and stretch out your borders, saith God, because I've given you new orders to your borders. And I am declaring the faithfulness of your God. I am declaring the faithfulness of your God. Because you've been faithful to me, I'm going to be faithful to thee. And God says, where the enemy has stolen, where he's taken, where he is, with the voices of the people under the steeple, God says, I am silencing them. God says, you'll no longer walk with head downtrodden and beaten down by the things that people say, because you're going to be going everywhere and God's going to be on display. And God says, those people, they're still stuck in their steeple, and God says, I'm removing you to bring you to the new, saith God, for this is a new day, and I'm going to do a new display. And when you begin to release it, as you begin to carry out what you already know, God says you know more than you're doing. God says that's because the enemy tried to put tentacles around you and put those tentacles, and even God says, I'm breaking this night an umbilical cord. I'm severing it. An umbilical cord that was attached to you, that the enemy said, this is how I will subdue, by this umbilical cord. But God says this night, I am, put your hand right there where your umbilical cord attaches. That's called your belly button. Just do that, and you do that. I'm just going to lay my hands on your hands. The Lord says, yes, there will still be, like there is in the natural, there will still be a scar. There will still be a reminder. But God says, just like with the natural, that umbilical cord will wither up and dry and fall off. And God says, this night, the rest of it, this thing had such power. This thing had such devastation that when it was wound in, it did not bring life like in the natural, but it brought death. It brought discouragement. It brought defeat. And God says this night, I am cutting that umbilical cord, and you're going to, over these next days and weeks, God says you're going to run through a troop, leap over a wall. As you begin to see the glory of the Lord that is risen on thee. And all men will testify and say that is a new person. They are new people, and it is a new day. For I have given a man and a woman a mandate. And God says, when I give you a mandate, then I call people to that mandate. So God says, continue to declare what you've heard me say, and let them share. For I will call people to come and join to and link to that mandate. And I'll bring musicians and I'll bring anointings around you, saith God, to where in the place that you have trod, where it has been a barren place, and it's felt like it is, you're ready to erase all memory of it, and you've even thought, where can we go? Where can we run from this thing? That God says, I wouldn't let you run, I wouldn't let you go, because don't you know, I was the one who called you so. I was the one who told you to go. And God says, now I'm going to prove myself faithful to you, O man of God and woman of God. That you have done without, O woman of God, even in the natural, God says people are going to start giving to you. They're going to start giving you things that you're not a things person. You don't care about, you're not consumed with things. But God says these are just the delightful things that'll make things special for you. And God says, I'm going to do that to you, for you, with you, and I'm going to cause others to just come and give. And then there's going to be provision and more than enough for the vision. And it's time, and it's a new season. So get ready, because I have given you now a new reason to believe and agree and stand with me to see all that I have said I'll do for thee. Ha, yeah, 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 yeah. There's going to be such a glorious rearranging that your place where you live, the vehicle you drive, and the things you fill the living place with, all are going to change and be rearranged as I release blessing upon you. You haven't asked for it, but I'm doing it because you have pursued me.
Yes.
And I delightfully will release it and give it to thee. Beauty for those ashes. The oil of joy for mourning. And a garment of praise. Instead of a heavy, burdened down, failing spirit. You'll be called oaks of righteousness. The planting of the Lord. That I'll be glorified in. You'll be called the priests of the Lord. Amen. Amen.
Jesus.